Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Awesome Finds. Now I got a bunch of new album releases to show you, so let's get started. The first two come from a vinyl subscription service called FeedBands, which is something I've talked about before on the show, but this is the first time they reached out to me and sent me two records free of charge for me to take a look at. So how they're a little different from other vinyl subscription services is that you as a member get to vote on the album of the month each month, and these are usually bands that are unsigned. At least that's from my impression. These are bands that wouldn't otherwise be able to get their albums on vinyl because of the expense. And what they also do is they literally feed bands. So if you're on tour and you're passing through their state, you can stop by the farm and they'll put you up and they'll feed you. Awesome. And another thing that they do is they actually do a charity type program where they get instruments in the hands of kids who wouldn't otherwise be able to get musical instruments, and I think that's great. So they really are fostering the next generation, the next big thing, and I think that's fantastic. Memberships are relatively inexpensive. If you just want to be a voting member and get a digital download copy of the album of the month, it's only $5. If you want to get that vinyl copy, it's $25. And I know they do international, but I believe shipping's kind of pricey. So look into that. Go to feedbands.com if you want to find out more. So let's get on to the music. What they sent me, the first record is, I think it's Yves or Yves, and this is the sound of Yves, and this is a pretty cool record. It's a female vocalist. I liked what she had going on. What's interesting too is that they have a foil sticker here that's numbered. So this is 537 of 900. What I really like is that while the album itself isn't shrink wrapped, they shipped it in a outer sleeve, which is nice. In addition to the record, it also came with a printed lyric sheet, and the record itself came in a polyline sleeve, which I really liked. And there you go. It's on a Coke bottle clear, a little bit of marbling going on. Really beautiful pressing. Can't say enough good things about that. It sounded great too. The other record they sent was Scott Dunbar, one-man band, 2 years to live, my boy's gonna play in the big leagues. So this is a very interesting artist. He reminded me a lot of Tim Fight or Man Man. If you've heard of those bands, I think you'll get the idea of what he's got going on. I absolutely loved side B. I can't remember why side A didn't quite jive with me, but that's a moot point. Now this is 267 of 900. This also came with a lyric sheet and a little kind of a press release, which is pretty cool. And the record itself, it also came in a polyline sleeve, and this is very striking. I love this sort of splatter look. Very nice. All right, up next, I got Menomena's Mom's album from 2012. I picked this up when I was at my local Fry's Electronics, and I was picking up another album, and I saw this for $12. I'm like, why not? New record for 12 bucks, I'll get it. It's a gatefold. I love that inner artwork and the back here. And yeah, it's pretty good, man. I mean, it's kind of typical for Menomena. I'm gonna show you one record here. I think that's record 2 actually. And then I'll show you second record right there. Now this did come with a digital download code. That was nice. It came in paper sleeves, so I switched it out to these other sleeves. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's not bad. I think if you like Menomena, this is a pretty on par record. It didn't blow me away, but for $12, it was worth it. Now these next few records all came from PopMarket. If you're not familiar, PopMarket is sort of a kind of a discount website flash deal type thing where they have a lot of vinyl, they have a lot of CDs, they have some music memorabilia and guitars and artwork, but I'm mostly focused on their vinyl stuff, and they have quite a selection, but it tends to favor classic rock reissues, I've noticed. But every once in a while you'll find a gem on there, and you can get some amazing steals. So first up is this album by Onyeabor. I'm not sure how to say his name, I apologize, sir. So this is a Nigerian artist who put out music, I think back in the 70s, and I went to a house party, and the owner, he had this album and he put it on for me, and I thought it was so great. So I was stoked to find this for a great deal. And you got a nice little blurb on who he is, because really we don't know a lot about this guy. And there's the back there. I think the sleeves are actually quite striking too, these full color sleeves. This is a 3 LP set. And there's another record sleeve right there, and the third one is right here. I will say that the whole album is solid, but the last song, takes up all of side 6, kind of doesn't fit with the rest of the songs. And I feel they got all the way to side 5 and they realized, what are we gonna do for the last side? And I feel like they kind of just tucked it on there. And it's not terrible by any means, but it doesn't quite have the same feeling as the other ones, and that could just be me. Yeah, I highly recommend this album. It's really cool, sort of on the cusp of electronic music, but it's from a Nigerian African experience. It's really quite amazing. Show the records real quick. They're all on black vinyl, all very similar. Yeah, I went ahead and put them in these rice paper like sleeves, and here is side 3 and 4. I like the subtle differences in the record labels themselves. Up next, I got Tame Impala's Inner Speaker, and oh my gosh, did I adore this album. This is kind of your common reissue. It doesn't include the interlude on side B, and I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe they had to fit too many tracks on one side and it didn't sound the best, but it's kind of a bummer it's missing that, but I'm still very happy to have this. And I think it was $10 with free shipping. I couldn't believe it. I had to buy it. And again, I went ahead and put the records themselves in these rice paper sleeves. There you go. That's record 1. And here is record 2. And lastly, from PopMarket, I got Weezer's Pinkerton. Now this is the 4 LP Deluxe Edition. Oh my gosh, this thing is massive. It's so ridiculous. One of my favorite reviews on Discogs was, it's great for when you want to hear El Scorcho 4 times on one record, because it's true, there's 4 different versions of here. It's really cool because you have a lot of songs on here, like some of them I've heard, some of these B-sides and things, but there was a few on here. I think Tragic Girl I'd never heard, Long Time Sunshine, Getting Up and Leaving, those are so worth it. These radio cuts were really interesting. I've heard these live and acoustic ones. You know, I didn't do an A-B comparison between this and my Vinyl Me Please edition, and maybe one day I'll do that, but it is a massive gatefold. You got a lot of artwork on the inside here, pictures and whatnot. I almost wish that it came with a booklet because some of this writing is so small. The records themselves, I still haven't switched these out, but they come in paper sleeves. This is side A and side B. Now this is the original released album, and then you have, oh that's funny, I put the rest of them in these sleeves. I guess I forgot to put that record in that. Probably because I didn't listen to it, that's why. And this is record 2, and let's see what we got here. This is record 3. And all the labels take different portions of that iconic front cover. And lastly, record 4. I am stoked to have this. It is quite a massive album. Unfortunately, because of the construction of it, it just gets a little bent up. It's a lot to handle for LPs. It's essentially this outer cover with 2 gatefold jackets on the inside is how they did it, which I think is pretty innovative. Yeah, that's about it. Let me know what you guys think. Now, these last 3 records all have something to do with Stranger Things, and I'm sure most of you have seen it, but in case you haven't, it's a show on Netflix that's very much inspired by, it's an homage to 80s kids films like The Goonies and E.T. and whatnot. So, oh, and The Explorers, really. And one of the things that really caught my ear was the soundtrack. And I was one of those people like, okay, so where's the soundtrack? And I feel like they sort of didn't realize it was gonna be such a hit, and so they kind of scrambled to get it out on CD and digital download. And then I'm like, okay, that's great, but where is the vinyl? And they said it was coming. They said it was coming. And this is the part that kind of annoyed me, is that there was no kind of formal release. It just sort of dropped, and pre-orders were out and they got snapped up very quickly. And one of the things they did with this release is they had a ton of variants, different colors of vinyl depending on where you bought it from anywhere from 500 to 1500 limited edition copies. Some of them we still don't know yet how limited they are. And I got really lucky when I picked up my copies, actually. So before I get into all that, I want to talk about, while I was waiting for this album to come out, I ended up checking out the band Survive, which features members who created the soundtrack for Stranger Things. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll check out Survive. And it turned out I had some of their songs in my iTunes from their previous album, and I really liked those songs, so I took a chance and I pre-ordered their second album, which is what I have here. It is RR7349. It's kind of a matte finish, and it's on Relapse Records. Real quick, here is the vinyl side A and side B. Getting back to this, I will say that this music is very different from Stranger Things. So don't get into this expecting that sort of retro synth sort of feel, because this is very different. I think if you give it a chance and you kind of let the whole album play, you'll get into it. I still don't 100% love this album, but I do enjoy it, and it definitely has grown on me. Getting back to the story, I got on the Survive's notification list, and then one morning I was up at 6 o'clock, and I don't normally get up that early, and I got an email saying, hey, Survive added a new item into their shopping cart, and it was the soundtrack for Stranger Things, and I was like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. I freaked out. I bought it, and I swear like a few minutes later it was already sold out. So it went super quick, and had I woken up when I normally do at 7, I would not have been able to get this version. So without further ado, let's show you Stranger Things. This is on translucent red color vinyl, 150 grams. Now this is a nice sort of semi-gloss cover. You have a gatefold with Will's bike there, and on the back there you get the track listings and the shed and stuff. Netflix and Lakeshore Records. The record also came with The Boys Finding Will's Bike, which I don't think actually happened in the show, and you get the credits and legal stuff right there. Records themselves are very much on that red vinyl. Nothing too crazy about them. They sound pretty good. The opening theme, man, love that freaking song. Really cool. Nice to hear it on vinyl. In fact, check out Tangerine Dream's cover. It's pretty amazing what they do with that. I think it's pretty crazy how much these different variants are going for on Discogs and eBay and stuff. I think I paid $30 plus some shipping for this, and you shouldn't pay more for that. I mean, it's kind of a hard thing for me because I get caught up in the collector aspect. Like if I get in on a pre-order, that's great, but beyond that, I'm not gonna go pay extra. There's the practicality side of me, and then there's the collector side of me, and they're sometimes at odds, and this stuff kind of annoys me in the sense that there was no Twitter announcement, there was no Facebook newsletter announcement. It just sort of pre-orders were dropped and then they were sent out, and then people who aren't in the know, if they want to get copies like this, they got to pay double the price, and I think that's kind of messed up. I wish there was a better way to get out there. Since then, I've actually found a website that lists variants. That's all they do. They make news articles on where to get it, and so that site actually really helped me find Volume 2, because I heard that Volume 2 was going to be out on vinyl, and if you have Volume 1, you gotta buy Volume 2. I was able to get Hawkins Forest green color with black swirl. One thing that kind of annoyed me is that in shipping it got smashed on the corner here, and then the cover's not any different. It just says Volume 2, and the rest it's the same, which I feel like they could have done a different cover for Volume 2. They at least got a different gatefold image and a different back image, which I'm happy about. And then, yeah, Volume 2 has a pretty cool piece of artwork there, which those 4 characters I don't believe ever were on the same scene together. And again, you have kind of copy and pasted legal and thank yous from Volume 1 there. Now, the vinyl itself is kind of disappointing because it's so dark, and I'll show you what I mean. You really can't see it unless you hold it up to light, and even then it's pretty darn dark. I would have liked something a little bit more akin to what I got with Volume 1, but they were pretty much all sold out by the time I saw that you could pre-order Volume 2. Also, these edges are super rough. Like, they just seriously pump these out super quick. And again, I think this was $30 plus shipping. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Does that kind of stuff bother you? Like the pre-order exclusive limited edition pressings? Does it really matter? I mean, I think for bands you really like, I think it's cool to have those exclusive pressings. For me, ultimately, it's about the music. And as long as the pressing sounds good, I'm happy with whatever. If it's black, clear, green, red, doesn't really matter to me as long as it sounds good. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm curious to know what you think of the other albums, what you think of FeedBands, what you think of PopMarket, if you ever bought through them. Be sure to leave me a comment down below. Until then, I'm your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hey guys, thanks again for checking out this episode of Awesome Finds. Now, if you want to see more, all you got to do is click, and I have a playlist right there for you. Also, be sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to keep in touch, I put my social media links right there.